All right, so I was interrupted. Every time I'm interrupted or anything that has to do with not having a suitable helper and women not doing their duty to God cost me, it's going to cost them. Okay, it's going to cost all of humanity with an emphasis on women. There's no excuse for this. This is a recurring thing. Okay, I keep having problems with my videos because there's no woman to help me organize, and I'm facing extreme harassment and sabotage, and I need that part. And when they try to get me to settle or to compromise, it's going to cost them more. Okay. So anyway, like I was saying, while the gays were generating their rebellious female on a period energy, okay, the African guys, they're gays in Europe and so on, in the Middle East and so on, Babylon, Sumer, Canaan, right, Lot, the Jordan, and so on and so on, all these homosexuals over there, right? The African guys were, this particular African bloodline was cultivating focused moral intensity, okay? And it is an Afro-Asiatic. I don't think it's a coincidence they interrupted me on this issue, right? Because only the black man was man enough to convey this idea. Let's face it, when you interrupt me on this issue, everybody with something to gain must suffer, and everybody who could possibly try to confuse that so that they could blame someone else must suffer too. So basically everybody else is a bitch but this guy, okay? The reason why it said this is because all of your cultures are in rebellion with thongs on, and you benefit from this. Are we all clear on that? Okay. That's why I keep saying it in a way that's disrespectful, because they're all disrespecting my office as the natural alpha and the only man on the fucking planet, okay? Anyway, so they're generating this moral intensity and moral courage, okay? And it mixes with other people so they can explain it to these people who are not, I repeat, they are not martial artists. They are like anime fans in rebellion and weird racist white guys that refuse to admit that they're not in the martial art order. Okay, mainstream history. So as they're generating this potent source like the sun, okay, the falcon sun hovers with it, right? He is mixed, and he understands where the sun is coming from through his line, through the source of his line, and he understands how to move with it and outmaneuver the enemy and strike them down. Okay, so obviously which order is superior? You have traditional orders, right? They went to their little corner of the world in some obscure place in the Far East, for example, okay? So they can breed with themselves, not so they can challenge people like me. They are not equipped to take on someone like me. They didn't go all the way across the world to train to take on someone like me. The people who stayed around so they could clash with this guy and keep an eye on him, they were more training and they came up short. They were outmaneuvered and defeated. It is that simple. They're not transcendent. They have made a deal with the cultures of this world so they can survive. They did not climb across. They're not superior. They're equal to in rebellion. No servant can be greater than the idea of Satanism. And their master is Satanism. Okay? So all of them are equal in pure satanic energy. It is that simple. They couldn't even raise a single attractive woman in a world of over 7 billion people to be a suitable helper for the most righteous man on the planet. Imagine the extreme cultural failure, the extreme spiritual failure, the extreme failure in regards to masculinity, martial art principles, social failure. Okay, you might call it a political success in hell, but it's an extreme failure in terms of morality, more reality. So if you want to disassociate with a pink thong on, you go listen to somebody else on how to live your life, okay? If you truly want to be right with God and find the point of life, point of sparring, the point of martial arts, the point of communication, which is to do the true purpose of life and not to assimilate into filth, okay? Then you listen to this guy. All right, that's pretty much all. I was interrupted, for some stupid fucking reason. And that's what they do, right? They have me with my parents, okay? Because nowhere else in the world is receptive. Everyone else is so thirsty and cheating. And you're an idiot if you don't think that's the case. You think they cheat every African in Africa, but they magically leave the top martial artists alone? Are you fucking dumb? They cheat them before they even have a chance to say anything moral. They starve them to death and give them AIDS and set up puppet governments and have them slaughter each other and then blame the black guy for it. Don't you see, when you rob these people, you're guilty. When you confuse people about whose fault it is, you're guilty. When you confuse women to the point where they're sleeping with your piece of shit ass instead of dying with the heroes, you're more guilty. Look at it, and you can go on and on about what makes them more guilty. They are so fucking evil, so guilty, And they're guilty of choosing being in a pedo energy, as guilty, as condemned as can be, instead of dying for God. How guilty are they? How emasculated are they? There's no point in them doing martial arts. They may as well knit with a pink thong. They're guilty of choosing emasculation over the core of masculinity, which is choosing the path of God.